Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real quick. If you want a man to think about you all day, if you want him to chase you and never let you go, you need to understand one thing. A man's ego is everything. I mean, everything. A man's ego drives him, motivates him, and sometimes blinds him. But if you know how to work it, it can work for you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men. Men are simple, yet complicated, all at the same time. You see, a man's ego is like the engine that keeps him running. It's what drives him to go out there and conquer the world, to provide, to protect, and to prove himself every single day. And if you want to understand how to make a man obsess with you, not in a manipulative way, but in a way that keeps him invested, keeps him showing up, keeps him thinking about you, you have got to understand this first. His ego is everything, everything. Now, don't get me wrong, ladies. I'm not talking about arrogance or pride. I'm talking about that core part of him that wants to feel needed, wanted, admired, and respected. That little engine inside him that makes him wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to do something today that proves I'm a man, that proves I'm worthy. That's what we're talking about. A man's ego is fragile in some ways, but it's strong in others. And here's the truth. A lot of women don't understand this. They get frustrated because they feel like he's distant or he's not giving enough attention, or maybe he's not saying the right words at the right time. But a lot of the time, it's not about you. It's about how his ego works. When a man feels respected, when a man feels admired, when a man feels like he's being acknowledged for who he is and what he can do, he thrives. But when he feels belittled, dismissed, or ignored, that ego can shrink. And when it shrinks, guess what? He withdraws. He steps back. He becomes quiet. And that's when you start to panic, thinking he's losing interest. But the reality is, if you know how to engage with that ego the right way, you can turn that withdrawal into obsession. You can make him think about you every single day. You can make him want to impress you over and over again, because deep down, he wants to feel like he's the man who deserves you. Here's something you've got to understand. Men, they don't operate like women do. Women, y'all, you want emotional connection. You want communication. You want words that make your heart feel full. Men, they want respect. They want admiration. And they want to feel like they're capable. And that's where the psychology of the ego comes in. If you want him to be drawn to you, you need to understand this balance. You need to know when to compliment him, when to praise him, when to show him that you notice his strengths. Men are hunters by nature, even if they don't always show it. And a man's ego responds to challenges. A man wants to feel like he's being pursued in a way that lets him rise up. He wants to feel like he's earning his place in your life. Now, let me break this down for you. Because a lot of women think that hurting a man's ego means putting him down. No. That is not what I'm talking about. Hurt, in this sense, is playful. It's subtle. It's knowing how to make him think, wait a minute, how do I get her attention? How do I make her happy? How do I win her? It's about creating that little spark, that little friction, that makes him invest in you emotionally. And when a man starts investing, when he starts caring enough to show up, to try, to rise to the occasion, that's when he starts becoming obsessed. Not obsessed in a controlling way, not obsessed in a desperate way, but obsessed in the way that makes him want to be a better man, because he wants to impress you, because he wants to be the man who deserves you, because he wants to be the man who deserves you. Ladies, this is powerful. When you understand a man's ego, when you understand how it drives him, you can start to work with it rather than against it. You can be the woman who makes him feel alive, the woman who challenges him in a way that excites him, the woman who keeps him thinking about you long after you walk out the door. It's all about timing. It's all about confidence. And it's all about understanding that men respond to respect and admiration more than most women realize. Give him respect. Give him space. Give him a reason to rise, and watch what happens. You see, the psychology of a man's ego is really about understanding that a man's actions are often rooted in how he perceives himself. If he sees himself as strong, capable, worthy of love, and needed, he will act in ways that match that perception. If he feels undermined, unappreciated, or ignored, he will withdraw. So the secret isn't to try to change him. It's to engage him in a way that makes him want to show up, make him feel needed, make him feel like he's the one who can protect, who can provide, who can impress. That's how you get him to invest emotionally. That's how you get him to chase. That's how you get him to chase. That's how you get him to think about you every single day. And let me tell you something else. A man's ego isn't just about confidence or pride. It's about his desire to be seen for who he is, to feel capable, to feel like he matters. When you tap into that, when you understand how it works, you can use it to create attraction that's strong, intense, and lasting. You can make a man feel like you're the one who makes him better, the one who makes him want to rise up, the one who makes him feel alive in ways he didn't know he could. That's power, ladies. That's influence. That's understanding the psychology of a man's ego. And when you understand it, you'll never be forgotten. You'll never be ignored. You'll always be the woman he wants to impress, the woman he wants to be the man for, and the woman he can't stop thinking about. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Relationships ain't just about love, and they sure as heck ain't about giving a man everything he wants without him earning it. No, if you want a man to be obsessed with you, if you want him to be thinking about you every single day, you've got to understand one fundamental truth about men. They are wired to be challenged. They are wired to prove themselves. They are wired to step up when there's something worth stepping up for. And let me tell you, the right balance between challenge and affection is where the magic happens. Now, I know some of y'all might be sitting there thinking, Steve, are you telling me to play games? No, I'm not talking about games. No, I'm not talking about games. I'm talking about strategy. I'm talking about understanding what makes a man tick. See, men don't fall in love the same way women do. Women, y'all, you often fall in love through words, through connection, through shared feelings. Men fall in love through action. Men fall in love through the sense that they are providing, protecting, conquering, and impressing the woman they care about. And when you give him affection without challenge, when you make yourself too available, when everything about you feels easy to get, you remove the fire from him. You take away the reason for him to step up, to rise, to prove himself. And without that fire, without that little challenge, he starts taking things for granted. He starts thinking, well, she's here. She's always going to be here. And that's the last thing you want. Ladies, here's what I want you to understand. A man is drawn to challenge, not a mean-spirited challenge, not a fight every night, not manipulation. I'm talking about subtle, intelligent, strategic challenge. The kind of challenge that makes him feel like he's earning your attention, earning your respect, earning the chance to be with you fully. It could be as simple as being confident in yourself. It could be as simple as having your own life, your own ambitions, your own passions. When a man sees a woman who doesn't bend over backward for him, who isn't desperate for his approval, who holds her head high and has standards, he starts thinking, I need to show up. I need to be better. I need to rise to this. That's attraction. That's obsession. But here's the key. Challenge alone isn't enough. You can't just be distant or cold all the time. No man wants a woman who's impossible to reach or unreachable. That ain't love. That's frustration. You've got to pair challenge with affection. You've got to reward his effort. You've got to reward his effort. You've got to nurture him. You've got to show him appreciation when he steps up. Men are like flowers. They need to be watered. But if all you do is water without letting them stretch toward the sun, without giving them a little room to grow, they never truly blossom. They never truly show you what they're capable of. So it's about balance. So it's about knowing when to pull back, when to create a little space, when to let him work for your attention, and when to be warm, loving, supportive, and affectionate. That's what keeps a man intrigued. That's what keeps him thinking about you. That's what makes him obsessed in a health way. Because when he knows that he has to earn your affection, when he knows that there's something worth proving himself for, he will invest, he will chase, he will show up every single day. And when he does, the relationship becomes electric. The emotional bond becomes stronger. And the attraction, it deepens in ways most women don't even realize. Now, let me tell you another thing. Men have an innate desire to feel like they are the hero, like they are providing, protecting, conquering, impressing. And the best way to tap into that is to challenge them in ways that make them feel powerful while giving them affection that makes them feel loved. It's like a dance. You step forward, you step back. You praise, you challenge, you create tension, then you release it. And every time he rises to the challenge, you reward him. You show him love, you show him appreciation. You let him feel like the man he wants to be, the man he was born to be, the man who can win your heart fully. That's how you get him thinking about you. That's how you get him obsessing over you in the best possible way. Ladies, you've got to understand that the balance between challenge and affection is not just a tactic. It's a mindset. It's a way of interacting that honors your worth, honors your boundaries, and honors the man's ego in a way that makes him want to rise. It's the fine line between being warm enough to keep him close and challenging enough to keep him hungry. And when you master that, when you understand how to give him both without being mean, without being cold, without being manipulative, you create a man who is not only obsessed with you, but a man who becomes the best version of himself because of your influence. Because of your influence. And that, ladies, is the secret. A man doesn't just fall in love with a woman who's nice or easy. He falls in love with a woman who makes him feel alive. A woman makes him work for her heart. A woman who balances challenge with affection so perfectly that he can't stop thinking about her. He wants to protect her. He wants to impress her. He wants to rise to the occasion because she makes him feel like being a man is powerful, respected, and necessary. That's attraction. That's obsession. That's love that lasts. Ladies, take this knowledge. Step into your power. Challenge him, but love him. Pull back, but reward him. Hold your standards, but show your heart. And watch how man responds when you give him exactly what his ego, his heart, and his instincts are craving. That's how you make him obsessed with you in a way that's real strong and lasting. That's how you make him show up, think about you, and never want to let you go. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real quick. If you want a man to be obsessed with you, if you want him thinking about you all day long, you've got to understand this one critical truth. There is a fine line between playfully challenging a man and pushing him too far. And when I say too far, I mean crossing the line where attraction turns into frustration, where admiration turns into frustration, where interest turns into distance. And let me tell you, most women don't get this right. They think that challenging a man means being difficult, cold, or hard to get. No, that is not the kind of challenge I'm talking about. See, men respond to challenge because it makes them feel alive. It makes them feel like they're capable. It makes them feel like they are needed. But there is a delicate balance here. Push too little, and he won't feel the spark. He won't feel like he has to rise up. He won't feel motivated to impress you, and he might start taking you for granted. Push too much, and you cross into a place where he feels rejected, disrespected, or frustrated. And that kills attraction faster than anything else. So the key is understanding the difference, understanding the line, and knowing exactly how to challenge without pushing too far. Now, I want you to think about this. Challenge doesn't mean you're rude. Challenge doesn't mean you're cold. Challenge doesn't mean you're cold. Challenge doesn't mean you ignore him every time he wants to talk. Challenge means you create a space where he has to show up. Challenge means you have standards. Challenge means you make him earn your attention, your affection, your respect. And when you do that in the right way, a man will rise to the occasion. He will chase. He will think about you. He will work for you. He will want to prove himself to you, not because you're manipulating him, but because you've created an environment where he feels proud to be the man in your presence. But let me warn you, ladies, push too far, and all that magic disappears. You will see a woman who constantly tests the man, who constantly criticizes him, who constantly makes him feel like he's never good enough. That ain't attraction. That's frustration. That's him slowly checking out. That's him feeling like no matter what he does, it will never be enough. And no man wants to be in a relationship where he feels like he's failing all the time. That's why you've got to get this balance right. You've got to know when to challenge him, when to step back, when to create intrigue, and when to show warmth and appreciation. Here's the secret that most women miss. Challenge is attractive, but too much challenge is destructive. And the difference lies in your intent and your execution. Are you challenging him because you want to see him rise, because you want him to invest, because you want him to prove to himself that he can be the man you deserve? Or are you challenging him because you're angry, hurt, or insecure? See, the first kind of challenge creates attraction. His second kind destroys it. The first kind makes him obsessed. The second kind makes him distant. And understanding that difference, that is what separates women who have men chasing them and thinking about them constantly from women who push men away without even realizing it. Now let me break it down a little further. Playful challenge can be as simple as holding your own opinions, having your own goals, and not always saying yes. Playful challenge can be teasing him in a way that's fun, in a way that makes him laugh, in a way that makes him think. Playful challenge can be having standards for yourself and your life so that he knows you're not just going to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And when you combine that with affection, warmth, and recognition for the things he does well, you've got the perfect formula. That's how you make him obsessed. That's how you make him show up, rise to the occasion, and feel like he's the man he's meant to be. But remember, push too far and it's over. Push too far and he starts feeling frustrated. Push too far and he starts questioning whether he wants to be around you at all. Push too far and you've lost him. The line between playful challenge and pushing too far is subtle, but it's powerful. You've got to be confident enough in yourself to know your worth, to know your boundaries, and to know exactly how much challenge is enough to intrigue him without driving him away. And let me tell you, ladies, once you master that, you will see a man completely captivated by you. You will see him chasing you, thinking about you, doing things for you because he wants to be the man who deserves you. Because he wants to be the man who deserves you. Ladies, I want you to understand that this isn't about games. It's about strategy. It's about understanding human nature. It's about using your confidence, your self-respect, and your awareness of a man's psychology to create the attraction that is deep, lasting, and real. When you playfully challenge a man, when you give him space to rise and prove himself, when you pair that challenge with genuine affection and warmth, you create a man who is emotionally invested. You create a man who can't stop thinking about you. You create a man who respects you, admires you, and wants to be the best version of himself because of you. So, ladies, remember this. Challenge is power, but too much challenge is danger. Learn the difference. Practice the balance. Step into your confidence. Hold your standards. Reward effort, show affection, create intrigue. And watch as a man becomes obsessed in the best possible way, not out of desperation, not out of neediness, but because you've understood the fine line and you've walked it like a queen. That's how you make a man think about you, chase you, and want to rise up to your standards every single day. Absolutely. Here is the full 900-word expansion of Keynote 4, using self-confidence and mystery to keep him intrigued and emotionally invested, written in a Steve Harvey style voice, conversational, powerful, with no subheadings and no conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that most people don't understand until it's too late. Confidence and mystery are two of the most powerful forces in attraction, especially when it comes to a man. You can be beautiful, kind, loving, supportive, and still lose a man's attention if you don't have these two things working together. Because here's the truth about men. A man doesn't get obsessed with what he fully understands. He gets obsessed with what he's still trying to figure out. And when a woman has confidence and mystery, she becomes unforgettable. Now listen to me closely. Confidence is not loud. Confidence is not arguing. Confidence is not trying to prove your worth. Confidence is quiet. It's the pause. Any way you walk into a room and don't need validation, it's the way you don't chase, don't beg, don't explain yourself to people who aren't willing to understand you. A confident woman knows who she is, what she brings to the table, and she's not afraid to eat alone if necessary. And when a man sees that, something happens inside him. His ego wakes up. His curiosity turns on. He starts thinking, why doesn't she need me? What does she know that I don't? And that's where intrigue begins. You see, men are natural problem solvers. They are wired to fix things, chase things, figure things out when everything about you is predictable. When you tell them every thought, every emotion, every move, there's nothing left for him to discover. But when you have mystery, when you keep parts of yourself sacred, when you don't explain everything you do, he leans in. He pays attention. He starts analyzing. He starts wondering. And the moment a man starts wondering about you, you're already winning. Ladies, mystery does not mean secrecy. It does not mean dishonesty. It means you don't overexpose yourself. You don't give a man access to all of you before he earns it. You don't lay your whole heart, your whole life, your whole past on the table immediately. You let him discover you layer by layer. And every layer he uncovers makes him more invested, because now he's not just attracted to you, he's curious about you. And curiosity is the doorway to obsession. Curiosity is the doorway to obsession. Now, let me tell you something real. A woman with confidence and mystery doesn't ask for attention. She attracts it. She doesn't demand effort, she inspires. She doesn't chase, she chooses. And that energy, oh, a man feels that immediately. He feels it in the way you don't overreact. He feels it in the way you don't rush. He feels it in the way you don't panic when he pulls back a little. Because a confident woman knows this. If he it's meant to stay, he will step forward. And if he doesn't, she's still good. That mindset alone makes a man obsessed. You see, nothing messes with a man's ego more than realizing a woman doesn't revolve around him. When he sees that you have your own life, your own joy, your own purpose, he starts thinking, where do I fit in? And instead of you trying to force your way into his world, he starts trying to earn a place in yours. That's the shift. That's the power. That's when his interest turns into investment. Ladies, mystery also lives in how you respond, not just what you say. You don't always have to explain your feelings immediately. You don't always have to react right away. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes calm speaks louder than emotion. And when a man sees that you are emotionally grounded, that you don't crumble under pressure, that you don't lose yourself trying to hold on to him, he starts to respect you on a deeper level. And respect is the foundation of obsession. Confidence also means boundaries. A woman with boundaries is dangerous in the best way because she teaches people how to treat her without saying a word. She doesn't tolerate inconsistency. She doesn't reward half effort. She doesn't stay where she's confused. And when a man realizes that losing you is a real possibility, his ego kicks in. He starts stepping up. He starts showing effort. He starts doing more, not because you asked him to, but because he doesn't want to lose access to you. And here's the part most women don't realize. Mystery keeps attraction alive long term. Looks may get attention, but mystery keeps interest. Confidence may draw him in, but mystery keeps him engaged. When a man feels like there's always something more to discover about you, something deeper, something richer, he doesn't get bored, he doesn't drift. He doesn't drift. He stays mentally locked in. He thinks about you when you're not around. He replays conversations. He wonders what you're doing. He imagines being part of your world. That's obsession. Ladies, I want you to understand this clearly. You do not need to change who you are to keep a man. You need to become more rooted in who you are. Confidence comes from self-respect. Mystery comes from self-control. And when those two come together, you don't have to chase love. It finds you. A man doesn't get obsessed because you gave him everything. He gets obsessed because you made him earn access to something valuable. And when he knows your value, when he feels your confidence, when he senses your mystery, he doesn't want to lose you. He wants to rise to you